In this activity is something that you would commonly want to do in your workflow. Normally you would use a pencil and paper and some drawing materials. You would come up with your idea. Ideation is usually done on paper. Once you've got an idea that you want to actually clean up and make into a proper design, you would need to bring it into a program like Illustrator and clean it up and vectorize it. So we're going to create a new document, and we'll make it A4 millimeters, portrait, and create. And then we're going to bring in a scan of a sketch. This is a sketch that I did very, very roughly in my notepad, and we're going to see what we can do with it. So we're going to go to place, so that's file, place, and there's an image there, activity 241 sketch. I'm going to place that, and I'm just going to drag over the page, and you can see it's pretty rough, the photo is pretty rough, and that's what we're going to use to trace. Now there's two ways that you can turn your photo into a trace layer. The first way is if you've placed an image, you can go to your layers panel and you can change that layer to a template layer. So if I just double click next to the name of this layer, it opens up my layer options, and if I choose template, you can see that it kind of grays this out and locks that layer, so I can then go to a layer above and I can do my vector shapes on top of that. So that's one way of doing it. Another way, I'm just undoing here, Command or Control Z, is when you place the image, you can choose down here template and then place it, and it's going to bring it in as a template layer and create a new layer above it. The only problem is it's brought it in at its actual size, which is way too big. So that is another way of doing it. I'm going to undo that because I don't want to do it that way. So I'm going to place normally. So choose the image. I'm going to unlink it. So this is going to make sense to you later on when we do images, but unlinking just means the image becomes part of your Illustrator document. I'm then going to drag across here, and I'm going to crop this down because I don't want to see the table or the pen or anything like that. So I'm going to choose crop image, and I'm just going to draw my crop area, and we're just dealing with the shapes here, not the text or anything like that, just the shapes. And then press apply, and now I can scale this up, and then I'm going to turn this into my templates layer. Actually, before I do that, one of the ways that you can try and vectorize your design is using image trace. Now, image trace actually automatically reads your graphic and tries to turn it into a vector graphic. Now, I know that this isn't going to work out so well here because this is far too much of a rough sketch, but let's just see what we get. So if I go image trace, it's going to run through it, and you can see that I probably shouldn't have done this on lined paper because it's going to make my life difficult. And it's also, if I go to my image trace panel, I can adjust things like the threshold to see what it does. No, that's no good. Let's go the other way. So it's a pretty messy result. So if you're going to use image trace, and we will be covering image trace in more detail in another lesson, make sure that your original artwork is pretty good quality and pretty clean. Then you'll get a good result out of image trace. But normally with image trace, it's best for things that you don't want to clean up too much. Maybe you want to retain that sort of sketchy kind of feel. So I'm going to close this and just undo that image trace until we're back with the ordinary picture. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to double click here and make this a template layer so that it's softened and in the background. I'm going to make a new layer. I'll just call this layer logo. And then I'm going to start drawing. So this is obviously going to be a good candidate for the pen tool and for things like Pathfinder. So I'm just going to take my pen tool and I'm going to draw the outline of this one shape here. So it's always good practice to get good at using the pen tool. It's a really, really valuable tool. When I get to a corner like this, Alt to change direction. Alt, change direction again. Okay, so now I can't see the drawing underneath, so what I'm going to do is just press D and then /. And what that does is it sets it to the default white fill and black stroke, and then / removes the fill. Okay, I'm going to continue, Alt, let's go all the way around here. And then over here we've got quite a sharp turn and then a very sharp point here, so Alt, change direction, and then back to the start, Alt, and finish it. Okay, so that's the one shape, and now I'm going to let me just fill that shape so that we've got a sense of what's there. Okay, and then let's do the other shape. So I'm going to continue with my pen tool, holding Alt whenever there's a corner, and then of course / to take out the fill. Okay, and obviously you will have more time to do this, so take your time and do a really good job of it. And then there. Okay, so those are two closed shapes. I'll make this a slightly different color. So now I need to put in those lines to deconstruct. So I'm going to take this shape, double click on it to enter isolation mode, so I'm only working on this shape, and then I'm going to press / to remove the fill, and I'm going to take my pen tool and I'm going to draw these divisions going all the way through the object. Okay, and then Command or Control click away to finish that one. This one's going to go through here. Command to get my direct selection tool and adjust that. Okay, and then Command click away. Here's another line here. This is going to go like that. Command or Control click away. Okay, so those are the basic shapes. I think there's another. No, I think I'm going to leave that. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is select all of this stuff because it's all in this isolation area, and I'm going to go to Pathfinder, click on the 3 dots and choose this one, Divide. Okay, so now I have those individual shapes. I can press D to fill it with white, and now I can just, I'm going to fill these different shapes with different shades of gray just so that we can see that they actually are different items. Okay, so that's the one shape. Now let's do the other one. So double click to isolate, / to remove the fill, pen tool, and I'm going to draw in these division lines. Okay, Command Control click away. Notice the way the division lines go all the way through to the outside so that it makes a clean cut of the path. Okay, this one's going to go and okay, I think that's okay, and then I'm going to draw a line going through like that. Command and Control click away, and one more going here to finish. Then I'm going to select all of that. Oh, I forgot one part here. pen tool, I need to do a cut through here. Okay, so Command or Control A to select all, and then Pathfinder divide. Okay, so I'm going to delete these pieces here, that, and that, and that. And then I'm just going to apply, let's, I'll do the same thing. Okay, and let's just use the eyedropper to pick up that color. And the same here. Okay, and then one more color in here. Okay. Then double click away to exit isolation mode. So if I now hide my template layer, there's my logo. It's not perfect, but I've had to do this fairly quickly. If you take your time, you should get a good result. So from a really, really rough sketch, we've ended up with a decent vector shape, which we can group, Command or Control G, and we can carry on working with. There's something weird going on there. I need to take that little piece out. Okay, delete. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and see you next time.